Welcome to the Word for 2021. Today we're in Exodus chapter 5. In verse 2, Pharaoh asks a question, and it's the same question that people ask today. When Pharaoh asked this question, he wasn't asking the question to get more information or to gain understanding, but when he asked the question, it was actually in defiance and in rebellion. What is that question in verse 2? Who is the Lord that I should obey him? Mankind has always had a problem submitting to the authority of God. The question is, does God really have the final say? Who is the Lord that he should be able to dictate what is right or what is wrong? In our society today, again, the question is, who has the final word, the final authority? Is it really a woman's right to choose to end her pregnancy? Because society accepts same-sex marriage as acceptable, does it really make it right? Just because it's legal, does that make it right? Just because those in academia or politicians promote something as being acceptable, does that make it right? Satan convinced Eve that God did not have to be obeyed, that they could do whatever they thought was right in their own eyes. And when they did, then sin perverted and distorted everything. When people do not know God, they decide what is right in their own eyes. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Now that word vision can actually be translated revelation, and perish is to cast off restraint. So another way that that verse could be read is, where there is no revelation, then the people cast off restraint. What is revelation? It's the unveiling or the revealing of who God is and what his will is. So when people do not know God and they do not know his will, then they cast off restraint. They do whatever they think is right in their own eyes. Now, if I do not know God and I do not know his will, then I'm going to obey me. I'm going to do what I want. I will obey my passions and my desires and my drives. I will be self-centered. I will be self-absorbed. If I do not know God, then there is no higher authority than me. And since there is no higher authority than me, then I'm not accountable to anyone. I can do whatever I want to do. But the question is, who is God that I must obey him? Who is God that we should obey him? He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. It was his word that created everything that there is. He is the creator. He is the judge. He is the eternal king. He is the almighty Lord. He is the great I am. He is omniscient, which means he is all-knowing. He is omnipresent. He is always present in every situation, all through time. He is omnipotent. He is all-powerful. There's nothing that God cannot do. He can heal the sick. He can give sight to the blind. He can make the lame walk. God can raise the dead. He can speak to the wind and the waves, and they must obey him because he created them. He can speak to dry bones, and they come back to life again. God is not confined to space or to time. He is eternal, without beginning or without end. A pastor once said this, "The Lord is unmatchless in his attributes. He is unrivaled in his beauty. He is unsurpassed in his care. He is unequaled in his deity, and he is unmatched in his love." Who is God that we should obey him? He is the Lord Almighty. Why should we obey him? Because he is the righteous judge. He is sitting on the throne, and he will call all the dead and the living before him, and they will be judged. He is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. He one day will split the eastern sky, and everyone will see him. He will call all men and all women to account. One day every knee will bow and every tongue confess that he is Lord. His name is Jesus, and his will has been revealed. Governments do not have the final say. School boards do not have the final say. Human courts do not have the final word. Society does not have the final word. People are not able to have the final word, but God himself will have the final word. God, who always is and always will be, will one day stand, and we will all listen to his word, and we will all obey. God has given us his word now, though, for us to obey. So the question is, who is God that we should obey him? He is the Lord Almighty. He is the coming one. He is the one who is and was and who is to come. He is the Lord. We will obey him. We will all stand before him. He's given us his word now so that we will obey him, because we will all be held account one day. God himself always has the final word. Thank you for joining me here on the Word for 2021.